How's it going, guys? And I'm back with night two of WrestleMania. And I have to say, I enjoyed this night better. Now, I don't think, just to preface it, I don't think anything on this show could surpass the Stone Cold Owens match, that whole moment, Stone Cold returning to the ring. How could anyone even hope to surpass that? I mean, that's what I said at the end of my night one review, because this is really it's almost impossible. You're giving these wrestlers and talents such an insurmountable mountain to climb there that they'll never reach. It's basically like you're starting to climb the mountain and someone is like holding you back or placed an invisible barrier on that mountain, as you're climbing it. You're just, you're never going to reach that peak. And that's exactly kind of what happened here. Now, we got, somewhat close at times, but overall, though, like if we're talking about overall, if we're talking about like the matches and the flow of the show, there was like only just a few little things really that I could nitpick on here. And well, there's like one real major criticism and one that could be a major criticism, but perhaps it's not the fault of the talent, though it's not really. So let's just talk about this show, and when we get to those moments, I'll make sure you know about them. So we started off with Jesse James Decker, and I incorrectly said that she performed yesterday because I thought she was one of the musicians up on the stage because I had no idea what I was seeing. But that was apparently the guy Brantley. This is Jesse. And I will say that this performance was probably better of America the Beautiful. We had a recap of the night before also. And throughout this entire night, let me just get this out of the way. We saw replays of just about every single match on the card from night one. And I don't want to be one of these people like yesterday that was complaining because Kofi, and Xavier got cut against Sheamus and Ridge Holland, the New Day match. People were saying, oh, if you cut out all those video packages. Well, the video packages are important. They're part of the presentation. And, people that don't watch Raw and SmackDown regularly, like I don't watch Raw. Once in a while, I'll watch a clip. I'm more inclined to watch SmackDown. I have been actually watching SmackDown, just not really sitting down to review it. I've been watching, well, some of it anyway. I haven't been like clicking on every single video for it, just the ones that I want to see. And, so it's necessary. And they're very well put together packages. They're beautiful packages. But these recaps, now these are the ones that they need to just, give them the boot. Because first of all, you already now at this point have Peacock. If you're watching night two, you have the ability to watch night one without a doubt. I mean, all you have to do is just click on the other night and you fucking own it. So what is the point of recapping here on this show? And I figured out what it was. By doing this, they pretty much just impressively managed to just narrowly make this a complete 4-hour night two. So altogether, we got an 8-hour show. Now, right off the bat, okay, there's a criticism right there. This is very, very long. Very, very long. Now, okay, granted, it did not feel that long because it was actually good, because I enjoyed a lot of it. But really, after a while, it does start to sink in that you're sitting on your ass for 4 hours straight watching this show. So, just wanted to get that out of the way. They really, really, seriously need to just streamline this shit. Cut a few minutes here and there, especially from the women's stuff. Because you're going to see there was a lot of matches on here that weren't quite as long. That's why I did enjoy it. There were no big marathons. And that's what really, made this the superior night in many ways. They need to streamline it. And I'll get to that also in a moment, like how they could do that. So the first thing on the show that we see is Triple H coming out to the ring for his entrance. Takes a while to get out there, soaks it in. You know, a lot of people were marking out for this because, you know, it's the first time that Triple H was making his entrance, you know, since we heard about the whole, you know, heart health scare. And I get it, you know, bringing out him there for this moment and everything, but I have to ask the question. You know, not to be like an asshole or anything and like, you know, criticize a man who had a health problem or anything, but like, you know, could maybe he have a moment here? You know, welcome to WrestleMania doing the Vince spot, and then he leaves. And I was like, I figured this was going to be his retirement. We see him with the boots. His boots were like already out there. He puts them in the middle of the ring. So, okay, here it's going to be, you know, leaving it all in the middle of the ring, you know, leaving the boots there. But basically, Triple H then walks off, and Corey Graves just fills in the blanks, says, you know, we recently heard that Triple H, you know, had to walk away from his in-ring career. And, you know, and that's what he's doing. He's leaving his boots in the middle of the ring. He's officially retiring. Now, to have Graves fill in the blanks there, that just kind of ruins the moment. I mean, you know, I get it. It's not really like Edge, you know, who was like an active competitor competing every week out there and having to come out there and retire, and they give him a whole speech. You know, with Triple H, like I said, it's not really like he was that much an active competitor. That's why I didn't want to really make like a big deal about him retiring. I made a video on it, but you could have had the guy say a few words. I mean, that would have been nice instead of "Welcome to WrestleMania." You know, we didn't even do that for night one, so that in itself kind of felt disjointed. I just thought like it was a little weird he didn't say more. And they had Corey Graves say it for him. But anyway, we have our first match. It's Rated RK Bro defeating the Alpha Academy and the Street Profits. And boy, oh boy, was this a great opener. I mean, holy shit. This was like, you know, you had the tag match from last night where they really couldn't help the fact that the match kind of went south because of boos, you know. And the thing is that I don't get, like, I was trying to watch OTRS's review, and honestly, I had to turn it off because sometimes I agree with the guy, and then I hear him say in the opening line that you know, oh, there's no excuse for Boogs getting injured and the match not being good. Okay, yeah, so I don't know what, like, after a man goes down, they're supposed to have a 5-star classic. I don't get it. So, you know, that's not their fault because the man got injured. I don't know who was ever, you know, agenting this match. You know, when it was laid out that Boog says he's going to be doing this huge spot, because, you know, we didn't do that randomly because that's like a big WrestleMania spot. That's not really something you normally see on your every day episode run-of-the-mill SmackDown. So, you know, they'd say, oh, go ahead and do it. And sure enough, you know, the man tears his quad, you know, some other type of quadricep muscle I'm not familiar with. But this match, I mean, some great athleticism, some great pacing. The fact that when Chad Gable went up to the top for the moonsault on all the guys on the outside, the camera pans to him and stays on him, so you don't see everybody going, ah, you know. And this is actually a touch that did not catch my eye, so we got to give credit where credit's due. That was Glenn Gilberti, Disco Inferno, over on Twitter, mentioning that. And, you know, he would always give takes like that because, I mean, we're talking about a guy that competed during the heyday of wrestling, competed during the Attitude Era, during the Monday Night Wars of wrestling. So he knows when he sees this stuff and he could point it out quite clearly. And I thought that was a nice touch. The springboard RKO from Riddle was great. Flying into the RKO, Randy Orton gets the pin. Just a really satisfying, fun way to kick off the night with a lot of great athletes in there. Really fun stuff. And then we get Gable Steveson, who's like, they've been teasing this guy now for like, I don't know, 2 years straight. Like I said, I believe he was at last year's WrestleMania as well. He gets invited into the ring by the Street Profits to celebrate. They've got the red Solo cups. They go in to do cheers. Gable comes, knocks the cup out of his hand. He says that he's got to learn some respect. Why they would not bring up the fact that, this guy is also an Olympian, I do not know. That just seems like a massive missed opportunity. If this somehow ends up being his first feud in WWE, I see some people kind of bringing it up that this should be his first feud. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. They haven't really stressed that enough about him being a former Olympian. And this shush thing has got to be one of the dumbest gimmicks I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's almost like they kind of want to make this like the next what, but they have to know that it's not going to be that way. And I get it. He's supposed to be a heel, but there's a difference between being a heel and just being super fucking annoying and just doing something dumb as hell. And that's kind of the latter. So we get a belly-to-belly suplex, and Gable sent out of the ring, and that's basically the end of that segment. I don't know. One of my friends over on Twitter, Bernard Scott, brings up a good point. I don't really see much in this guy. Really, honestly, I kind of look at him. I look at Gable Steveson, and I got to agree. I don't really see it. Now, I need to see more of him, of course. It would not be fair to judge the man. We have to see him in his element, see him when he's there. Well, actually, he's kind of out of his element, really. He's not really a professional wrestler, but you know what I mean. We need to see him what he was hired to do in order to fairly assess him. But, in this environment, I guess it was okay. He does not look like he's going to be the next Kurt Angle. He doesn't look like he's going to be the next Bobby Lashley, the next collegiate superstar, mammoth megastar. I'm not seeing it from him. But that could be just me, and it probably is, right? Right? Maybe. Anyway, Lashley defeated Omos. Omos. They did change the pronunciation of his name over the years. I did notice that. This match was, a lot of people were fearing this was going to be disastrous. But I thought it was really good seeing Lashley dwarfed like that, made for a great visual. And I think the guys really, put on a pretty good display of power, and, they worked a pretty good match, and Lashley played the role of the underdog, having to chop down this big elkwood tree, which was a lot of fun to witness. It took several spears to put him down, and one weird kidney spear. This was one type of thing, like, I didn't like the way that kidney spear looked. And also, Reigns weirdly tried to do it as well, like more of a reverse spear from the back. And it did just not visually, like, play off. Like, it did not, like, look like a good move for some reason. But, it was way better than a lot of people were saying that it was going to be. I think a lot of people are kind of unfair to this big guy. Like, I don't know if they expect him to climb to the top rope and do a shooting star press or something like that. He's a big, mammoth of a man. This is, classic the way how it was always done. Now, very few of these guys managed to make it to the upper echelons, and it's going to be really hard, pretty much impossible to ever find another Andre the Giant with that level of presence. But Omos seems pretty comfortable in there, and he does play his role well, and Lashley played very well off of that. So I pretty much enjoyed this one too. Johnny Knoxville defeating Sami Zayn. Holy shit, this match was hilarious. This was really, really well done. It was super entertaining. I didn't even think that they were going to be able to pull this off this well. They came in fully loaded with shit to do. Like, they had a game plan, and they played off that game plan really well. And, I kind of figured that's why I posted on Twitter, like, to have Wee Man be under the ring, Hornswoggle style. I knew that they were going to do that. And I was very happy that they did follow through and actually do it because it worked out real well. We had some funny stuff. Party Boy gets in there. He's doing his Big Dick Johnson impression. Michael Cole drops the Naked Midian reference. We had some funny stuff with Zayn going through a table with mouse traps all on top of it. A giant hand comes out of nowhere at ringside, bashes him in the face. Someone made a joke, and even Mark Henry even managed to retweet this, saying that this was Mae Young's hand, and he made his WrestleMania debut. I thought was pretty clever. We had Zayn getting booted in the nuts with that kicking prop. It was like a foot with like a sneaker on it. And then there's a big mouse trap that's set up in the ring, and they didn't really get to set it off the way they really wanted to do it with the string. So I thought they were going to fuck it up at the end. It really did look like they broke the mouse trap, and there was no way of setting it off, but they managed to do it. Zayn gets trapped under this giant mouse trap. It was surreal. It was hilarious. It was entertaining. It was fun. Zayn, this really speaks to Zayn as a wrestler. Like the Sami Zayn, the boring ass Sami Zayn that competed in the ladder match years ago when he made his WrestleMania debut. It really needs to be said. This guy really has come into his own. He's really made a character for himself, a genuine effort to like really be remembered forever. And, Zayn just, not everyone could pull this off. A comedy match such as this. And he really was a champ. I mean, he took quite a few bumps like through the table and shit. And, he's a real champ and he's super entertaining. His facials, his reactions to the situation. Sami Zayn has come a long way from being the indie darling with the great work rate. So there's that. And, he's owed all the praise for it, really, quite frankly. And Johnny Knoxville, not really on the level of a Logan Paul athletically, but kind of holding his own in there, just, really doing a bang-up job all on his own. Then we get the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag match for the Women's Tag titles. And we've got Naomi and Sasha doing a great entrance with a Lamborghini. This is one thing. I do knock the characters of these girls and everything, but man, that was quite the entrance right there. So they defeated Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Queen Zelina, and Carmella, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley. Few takeaways from this. Ladies, I don't think I really stressed it enough, and I don't really remember if I mentioned it really all that much in my review, but, Cringy Lynch's makeup was just downright clownish last night. Was horrendous. I mean, she actually looked good with her haircut and the sunglasses till she took them off, and then someone pointed out she looked like fucking David Bowie. one of these... and I'm looking here, and all these girls, with the smeared makeup, Rhea Ripley, like around the eyes, raccoon girl here, just like white, and all of them, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Natalya, a beautiful fucking woman, and just smearing their face. This would just, what is it? Halloween? Is everyone doing a Road Warriors impression? I mean, does everyone have to be Demolition? I don't get it. I honestly do not get why they do this. Ladies, you're detracting from your looks. And here come the comments. Oh, you don't look that much better and all this, but no, seriously, you want to put these women out there. Same thing I also have to say tweeting this out as well about Carmella. I know it's been said 1,000 times, but I'm going to say my own piece and really drive it home because it's been a while since she's been on SmackDown. I haven't really had a chance to talk about it. How fucking dumb is it that she puts this mask on and they're still doing it to this day? How many months have they been doing this? For like half a year already. You know, she's supposed to be the most beautiful woman in WWE. You know, well, let's put the attractive woman behind a mask for no reason to protect her face. You know, and it had even been said on commentary, it's a little thin rubber mask. How is this supposed to protect her? I guess that's supposed to be part of the joke, except for the fact that it's not funny. See, funny is Sami Zayn versus Knoxville. That's ha-ha. This right here is like, what? Like, it's just, honestly, it's just, it doesn't make any sense. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. It does nothing for her except hide her fucking face. And I really just don't like Corey Graves. I mean, at least he got out of that goof suit from last night, but he changed into a slightly less goofy suit, but a goofy suit nonetheless. It's like, you know, this all white glittery suit and his face when Carmella doesn't get the pin. Like, I like that they're actually, for a change, showing this dynamic. You know, they wouldn't do this with Renee and Dean Ambrose, you know, John Moxley. Like years back, you know, when she was on commentary and we all knew that they were like dating or about to be married, or they might have been married, or I don't even fucking know. I think they were married at that point, and they only dropped subtle hints. Here we're like, you know, we're playing into it. I like that, but what's the face from Corey Graves? Like, what a tool! Like, you know, I don't know if that's what they're going for, but you know, if that's the case, then make Graves a full-on heel. You know, I know he's a little bit more inclined to root for the heels, but no, like, seriously, make this guy a Jesse Ventura. Make this guy an Attitude Era Jerry the King Lawler, for God's sakes. I mean, have him support the heels a little bit stronger. Have them act a bit more villainous on commentary if you're going to try to make him this dislikable, because he is extremely dislikable. Up next, we had, you know, and also before we move on, I mean, we'll talk about the quality of the match. Definitely better than both women's matches last night. That's for damn sure. Less, I didn't really see any major botches here, or like ill timing that was really that noticeable, and that might have been due to the number of competitors in the ring. But you know, it was decent. It went by fast. It was easy to digest. It wasn't unbearable like the other two from the night before. So that already is, you know, big ups to them. And it needs to be said. Edge defeated AJ Styles in what was a pretty damn good match with a really scary superplex from the inside out, mind you. You know, they're usually done from the other way around, but man, that was scary. You know, Edge with his neck problems. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, guys, I'm honestly saying, like, with the amount of injuries that they have racked up, and we've already had this man on the shelf for as long as he's been, for 9 years straight, and then he got injured after that, you know, albeit a different body part and all, but Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, you know, you just had a man get injured the night before, and you had Big E, you know, get injured, and the same kind of injury could have possibly taken place right here. So I don't know why they're going for a big move like that. I'm just saying, guys, it has to be said at the point, in a world of Daniel Bryans and Edges and Stone Cold Steve Austins and all these other people that have been dropped on their head, willingly dropped on their head. I mean, no, I don't get it at this point. You know, why are we doing this? Like, in a world of Chris Benoit's, mind you, you know, why they're actually going in the other direction and doing this type of style. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, I really love the selling here. we get a shoulder breaker, and AJ is on that shoulder selling it hard, which I liked. AJ was also bleeding because they said like he got hit by a little bit of pyro. So that was like kind of noticeable as well there too. And I was kind of wondering the same thing. I was like, where did that come from? And, but yeah, that's pretty much what they said it was. This was a really fun match. Damian Priest shows up at ringside. A distraction is caused. And, Damian Priest actually here, I have to say, I don't know what it was. Here he looked more like a star. I don't know if it was that they were dressing him better, the way they did his hair, his demeanor. I actually saw something in him here from the first time. Last year WrestleMania, I was not seeing big time star from Damian Priest. Here I was looking at this guy, I was like, okay, now he's looking intimidating. I don't know what it was, I can't really pinpoint it exactly what the key determining factor was, me translating into another guy on the roster to star Damian Priest, but there was something there. There was an element at play, and I think it was that. I think it was wardrobe. I think it was just everything with him. So he goes up, springboard, and gets speared. 1, 2, 3. This was good. We didn't have an insane amount of near falls. Edge did kick out of the Styles Clash, but, this is Edge. We didn't have a Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins finisher-a-thon going on, which was much appreciated. We had a really good, fun match, as I was expecting. Two just really good athletes who are capable of a lot, known for, doing a lot of movement in the ring and really getting it done and pacing themselves well. AJ, that is one thing why I've always liked this guy. He is a high flyer first and foremost, I suppose you could say, but that's not all he's about. And he's always been good at pacing himself and not being a spot monkey. And he did show it once again here. Sheamus and Ridge Holland defeat the New Day in like 2 minutes. Holy fucking shit. This was hilarious to me because this is where I just sometimes have to love Vince McMahon. Because not only do we finally get the match that everyone was complaining their eyes out about, oh my God, I can't live unless I see a New Day tag match. Oh, this was really funny to me because people were talking about the match that was probably the least anticipated. And because someone got cut, it's back to the narrative that Vince McMahon is the devil. All of a sudden now, Vince McMahon is the God's honest devil. I mean, at the Hall of Fame, he's a hero. He's a savior to mankind. He's Jesus Christ himself. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Vince McMahon's the devil because he cut a match. Damn it. So we get the match and everyone looks like fools. But no, the joke's on you, smart marks, because guess what happened? They come out, they're dressed in Big E's garb. Oh man, they're going over, right, in the name of Big E, of their friend who was injured. But nope, that's not what happens. We have fucking Pete Dunne just... What is this? He's like a fucking rabid dog. I think it's hilarious. And I see people criticizing it. I'm like, no, that's kind of having a character in a way. It's better than the Bruiserweight. Fuck. Of course, that's what people... Oh, that's the brilliance of Triple H's NXT, right? The Bruiserweight. Oh, man. That's super over. That's going to be over with this 77,000 strong crowd. That the Bruiserweight is out there. Oh, shit. Anyway, so they march him out there, and the match ends with Sheamus hitting a bro kick. Ridge gets his finisher in, and that's the end of the match. I was like, I tweeted this out. Vince, I can see Vince saying it now. Those internet fans are complaining, march those guys out there in their friend's attire and beat them in 2 minutes. Or it's more like this now, because the whisper. Yeah, Vince McMahon with the Joe Biden whisper, right? You know, beat him in 2 minutes. You know, one of those deals. I thought that was funny. I mean, like, you want your stupid fucking match? Here's your fucking match here. Like, seriously, guys? Like, they were complaining after they got Cody Rhodes, Stone Cold coming out of retirement, and people were fucking complaining about a New Day match. Like, this was going to change WrestleMania's, like, quality, overall quality, based on whether a New Day match. You would have forgotten that match the very next day, like as we were watching this night, if it happened on night one. And there were people believing that that was going to go on after Stone Cold. Like, and they were like, I saw people legitimately saying that a tag match was going to be the main event. We really have people that fucking stupid, like on social media, believing that nonsense. Like, put the New Day on after Stone Cold. They've really earned it. Get it the fuck out of here, people. Like, honestly, I put it up on Twitter, guys. That, go read through the thread I put up on there. There is just so many bad takes. It's almost alarming. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, the people, like, if you ever need an example of why McMahon and the WWE should not listen to the internet crowd, it's examples like that thread and everything that was going on Twitter in relation to this event. So, yeah, you had your 2-minute match and you're going to forget about it. You probably already forgot about it today. Pat McAfee defeats Austin Theory. Holy cow. I mean, McAfee is an athlete. The swanton, springing up for the superplex. Well done. Austin Theory played his part well. I think he could play a bit of a better part. The thing is with Theory, they got to give this guy some sort of a character. And, holding up the camera, holding up, the cell phone to take to take selfies. Sorry, like, just copying and pasting the Tyler Breeze gimmick is just not good enough. And I get it. It's a little bit different. Tyler Breeze didn't take selfies after, an opponent was defeated and all that. So there's a new dynamic to it. But there needs to be a more consistent dynamic with Austin Theory outside of the entrance. But anyway, it was a good match. McAfee proved himself that not only is he a great commentator, but an amazing wrestler. And yes, I do realize he wrestled Adam Cole. I'm just saying that this was different because this was in front of 77,000 fans, not like 500 people. Just saying. Well, I think there was probably more people in that arena because then that wasn't that like a pay-per-view or something. No, that was during the pandemic, right? So I don't know. Honestly, I didn't even watch that match. I'm just saying I know of it. So I'm gonna be honest with you. So right there, you end it. Could be a great moment, right? McAfee winning, the former NFL star, great commentator, finally getting it in. Michael Cole, I got to give it to Michael Cole. He was into this match. He was jumping out of his seat, McAfee style. Michael Cole was on fire. I have not seen the man that alive in quite some time, and it actually seemed genuine. Like, it wasn't just McMahon talking into his ear. But speaking of McMahon was out there during the match. And, and Theory was looking over for approval from McMahon. And then all of a sudden, after the match is over, McMahon gets in the ring. Theory attacks him from behind. And we've got ourselves a match. Yes, if you did not watch the show, I'm not fucking lying. Vince McMahon technically had a wrestling match. His first match back, I believe, since CM Punk on Raw. And, he takes off the shirt, takes off the jacket, and, Michael Cole's going on and on about, Vince being jacked. And yes, for a man his age, he's being jacked, but I gotta be quite frank. I mean, Sylvester Stallone is only like 5 years younger than him. McMahon's lost a lot, like really like a lot of muscle mass. Yes, he is still in great shape for his age, but also I've really noticed the lighting in the arena is very weird at times. Like I was really kind of like looking at Austin Theory, and I know what this guy looks like. He has really big biceps and tries and like a pretty impressive build. But when you look at some of these people under these bright lights, and dear Lord, are they bright lights? Sometimes they don't look as defined. And if you know anything about, like, if you've ever taken a selfie in the gym, which I know is a little something about, lighting is everything. You could look like a total fucking hot mess, or you could look like a golden god. I'm not saying I look that way, but I'm just saying there's others who do that have, you would see the difference, and people have done videos on this. And there's a whole science to all Instagram influencers. Lighting is everything. And sometimes, this $1 million lighting, even though it makes things clearly visible to you, it's not really always the best. But, Vince, I'm not going to make excuses for him. The guy just doesn't seem like he's in the best health. He really seemed to age rapidly some there. And I know people are going to say this, but like, you look at people like Donald Trump and many others, and like they're exuberant, full of life. They don't look like old men. McMahon looks like an old man. I'm sorry, he looks like a complete, without a doubt, geriatric. And it really pains me to say that, because this is far and away from the man that we saw on the cover of Muscle and Fitness years ago. And like I said, Father Time sometimes is very unkind, but dear Lord, this was not the most flattering moment for McMahon to come out there and display his physique, because the physique is not really that impressive anymore. And he gets the pin on McAfee. Why? Why did this need to happen? So after this is all said and done, Stone Cold comes out to make the save, and we're here to get into the Stone Cold moment. But before Stone Cold's music hit, Austin Theory's music hit to play them out. Austin Theory's music hits, and McMahon is like, and I'm like, what? Like, did he just get startled by Austin Theory's music? Turn it down, you kids! Turn it down! I thought he was like, kind of like that, like the old man getting spooked by a loud sound. But it turned out that wasn't the case, because soon enough, we hear the glass breaking, and here comes Stone Cold. So right there, McMahon actually fucking confused Austin Theory's music with Stone Cold's music there for a moment. And it was pretty visible. I don't get it. I don't know if the noise in the arena was that loud, and McMahon couldn't hear it properly, or what the case may be. But, usually Stone Cold's intro has a loud breaking of glass sound effects, which it did. Austin Theory's doesn't have that. And I have to ask, like, how does a man that heard this theme song probably hundreds of times in his lifetime, almost every single week on episodes of Raw, and all of a sudden he forgot it? I don't know. This was not a good night for McMahon, and we're still not done with how McMahon fouled things up. So Austin comes out, Austin Theory gets hit with a stunner, and this man sells it like fucking, it's a hilarious fashion. I mean, he bounced around the ring and he flopped out. I was laughing my ass off. And then Austin goes to give the stunner to McMahon, and McMahon takes the kick to the gut, and he falters, and he's like flailing backwards, and Austin is like going to grab him, and like McMahon's holding on to the fucking ropes, and Austin pulls him, gives him the stunner. He like barely made contact with his shoulder, flopped down. I'm like, holy shit. Like, if Vince is getting off kilter from a fucking kick, I mean, he wants to show that he was kicking McAfee's ass, giving him clotheslines and stuff, and McAfee's selling for him. I mean, and here he can't even fucking take a kick to the gut without, and just an awful looking stunner. I mean, Vince, seriously, bro, get the fuck out of the ring. At this age, I mean, I get it. The man's got an ego. No, I get it. I said Vince McMahon is one of my favorite characters of all time, but McMahon's not looking very good right now. You have to have a little bit of pride, Vince, and know when it's time to get the fuck off the TV screen. And this was a great example of that. So then we have McAfee and Austin celebrating together. Austin then gives him a stunner when they're drinking the beer. Big fountain cell with the beer out of his mouth from McAfee. And then we cut to McAfee laying on the ground at ringside. And he's like half conscious, his eyes are closed, and he's still drinking the beer. I was like, that to me is moment of the night. I mean, once you give me a meme that great, that was iconic right there. McAfee with a hell of a performance. I'm just kind of sad that he had to sell for Vince like that. That was embarrassing from Vince. To me, like, that really was like a pace breaker. Because, can I ask a question? Why couldn't they just have Theory beating him down to get his heel heat back after the match? Maybe Vince could get a few kicks in on McAfee, and then Austin comes out. Was there a reason why we had to have this match? I mean, the thing that was funny about this is it seemed like they were really trying to like swerve the audience. They were trying to tell people that, that the Vince and McAfee match that was rumored, and I guess it was a little bit more than rumored, I guess it was actually being planned, that wasn't going to happen because the challenge was made on McAfee's show. That McMahon was going to give McAfee an opponent at WrestleMania. It turned out to be Theory. We were also told that Austin and Owens was only going to be a talk show, but then it actually ended up being the match. The dirt sheets have reported that Austin had turned down an offer. All that shit ended up being false, and we ended up getting both things anyway. I just thought, like, man, they should have just kept his ass out of it. And there were ways that they could have had McMahon if McMahon really wanted to be out there without it having to be, I don't want to call it a disaster because it was mostly a success, the McAfee stuff. It was really fun and really good. It was just a shame they had to have that Vince part in there with him getting the pin on him for like no fucking reason other than it just being an ego moment for Vince. Then we came to the last and final match of the night, and it was Roman Reigns defeating Brock Lesnar in a unification match for the titles. And, it had to be brought up, and Bernard Scott brought this up to me on Twitter. That was kind of anticlimactic. It really sort of was. It was a good match, without a doubt. But I gotta be honest with you, like, after all these moments we saw McAfee, Vince, Austin, Cody Rhodes returning, we're having all these massive moments, the zaniness of Sami Zayn and not Johnny Knoxville, and we're having all this big time entertainment that's like setting the bar. We just end it kind of flat. Roman Reigns, hitting multiple spears and, gets the win eventually. And the titles have been unified. And I have to say, please keep the titles together. This is the third time we're doing this. There's no reason why we need to split them apart again until the next time someone gets a bright idea to do another brand extension. Please don't. Just keep them together. Anyway, yeah, I have to kind of agree. That's not the fault of the talent. I mean, Brock and Roman put on a pretty good performance here, as they always do. always giving her A game, but like, yeah, it's kind of just like there was no interesting finish to it. There was no big surprise, and I don't know what that surprise would be, but that's not my job to figure that out. But I just feel like we're going off WrestleMania kind of cold, and I know, you'll say like, oh, but it was a unification match. Okay, but like we've got two imaginary belts, right? That are being fused together. Like, what does that really do as far as entertainment? Does it add stakes to the match? Of course, but like, it just kind of happens, and then that's it, and we kind of end it. And after all those big moments, I don't know, like, something could happen storyline wise to maybe lead into Raw or lead into SmackDown. Nope. That's it. It's just that's your moment right there. And I get it. They didn't even do this during like when Jericho became the undisputed champion. I think they kind of just went off the air, but that wasn't a WrestleMania. I don't know. It's just me. But after big moments like that, you just kind of expect more. But maybe I'm wrong. I am kind of thinking back in my head. There were moments like this in Mania where they kind of just ended it after the last match was over, and that's just it. That's your result. This is the person who's the champion. All right, but anyway, night 2 is definitely better than night 1. I'm really surprised to see that a lot of other people think differently. I don't know how that could possibly be. Night 1 was definitely harder to get through, but I mean, if you're a fan of women's wrestling, then I guess it wasn't. But it wasn't really the most pleasant experience for me night 1 until Austin really came out there to really save things for me. But night 2, just overall in terms of quality, just seemed to hit all the right points for me. And yeah, I thought it was really a good night. And overall, like both nights, I mean, holy shit, this was an 8-hour fucking show, and there's no reason that this should happen. Like they should just trim this shit down. I mean, honestly, like, find ways. You could have taken away so many of these recaps throughout the night. Shave those off. We already have Peacock. You don't need to see those moments that just happened the night before. Go tell them to watch night 1. Like, I don't know. But anyway, yes, I enjoyed this WrestleMania quite wholeheartedly. I hope you did too. Of course, let me know what you think down in the comments below. We'll discuss it there. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bells to get all notifications when I post all my new videos. And I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. Thanks again, guys. I will see you next time.